Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs postgame show podcast presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Luke Stuckmeyer, Ryan Herrera, Cody Delmendo. After the Cubs lose to Blue Jays 5-3, they've dropped 2 in a row now in Toronto. And this time it was Marcus Stroman returning to his original team, making the start. Nice ovation. Some of us took him in who you got. We'll get to that later. And, of course, the results. But 5-3 the final. And, listen, I don't know. You can worry about how the bullpen's being used and all these other things. I don't know how many times we have to go over it every night, but the way I feel is that it's about exploring and the score doesn't matter. It's fun to watch. Every once in a while I get sucked into the score, but I very rarely get into, he left that guy in too long, this guy came in. They traded away the 4 best guys in the bullpen. Yeah. End of story.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's to the point where it's like, did we really care about the outcome of the game, or were we more happy to see Jeremiah Estrada come up and have a really clean inning? I mean, he had the walk, but, I mean, it was 2 strikeouts. He was pumping 98 fastball. His slider looked good. I mean, that was like – I think you take that over a win at this point in the season. And then just, I mean, Christopher Morel, big game from him. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, you want to see the development.
Only care if they win. If they win, I'm kind of like, oh, that was a nice win. And if they lose, I'm like, well, it doesn't matter anyways.
You want to see the development, and you want to get home on time. That's what we're looking for.
And again, not in that particular order.
Yeah, this one stinks. Whatever. Jeremiah Estrada looked good. Brennan Little did not. Saw Ryan's mentions where people were saying that he was a bum, and those people are lucky that I didn't go into his mentions and answer them myself. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you want, we're at a point where silver linings are the only thing we have left, man.
Yeah,
that's really what it is. Morel was in an 0-for-18 stretch.
Yeah.
It's a homer and a double tonight. I mean,
hugged it out in the dugout.
Hugged it out. I mean, you need a hug, go find Christopher Morel. He gives good handshakes too.
You would know.
I would know. I do know. I do know. But yeah, no. I don't know. I think that anyone who is still out on Marcus Stroman, I give up on convincing you.
Michael Culotta
says he's a bum.
This is the first time I've ever seen Michael Culotta say anything about someone that's not Ricketts or like the front office.
You haven't been here.
I've never seen him go after
You've been
a
in the press box too much. This is every night. Honestly.
Looks like a Donald Trump tweet. Stroman is a bum. Big disappointment.
I don't know.
But what I was saying is, I think anyone who is out on him, there's no changing your mind, so I'm done trying to convince people. I know it hasn't been his best year, but I also, I thought he was fine. I was a little surprised it took him out earlier. I didn't know what his pitch count was, but, I mean, whatever. I just think that the sooner the season ends, the better. But also, like, you just got to look at the players who are going to be here next year. And I'm not saying every one of these players on this roster are going to be on this roster, but there's some guys here that, that are exciting and fun to watch. And, that matters. It does matter. And I say that because we've sat here a few times or not necessarily on set, but, throughout the year where we've acted like, well, maybe this team isn't that far. Remember, like 2.5 months ago, we were like, this team is 2025. Like, that's when this team's going to be good. And then, like, honestly, since the All-Star break, they've played well enough to where you can at least maybe talk yourself into thinking maybe this is more like 2014.
Well, weren't they like, isn't it like since the end of or late in June, they're like right around 500? Like, that's.
Well, the rotation was like ERAs up there, right?
They're going
second
crazy.
in baseball.
I mean, that's, again, with the roster coming into the season, a 500 team overall would have been like kind of a success because that's like closing in on making a run at a wild card territory.
Yeah.
They've gotten about 2 months of that instead, but that's that's better than the 10-game. I think there was another 9-game losing streak in there. Like that was tough to watch.
Those 3 stretches, what, the 3 and 14 from
Rough.
mid-April to like the beginning of May, the 10-game losing streak and the 9-game losing streak. If they just go like 500 during those stretches, they're probably a 500 team.
Well, I know. But if you didn't give up those 3 70-yard touchdowns, you were in the game too. If you're the Bears,
I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying.
I'm going to defend Michael on the chat, and this is not going to be popular. He just said, "Congratulations to the Ricketts. You've reached 20 games under 500 before Labor Day." No. Dom is the director of morale, and Michael is our director of disappointment, our DOD.
There you go.
He's our disappointment.
He's our DOD.
Yeah, there you go.
Director
Our
of
DOD.
disappointment.
I like that one.
He evens everything out. For the fans that are overvaluing things, Michael's at the other end dragging you all down to put you right in the middle.
I would just like to know one thing that he is actually like happy about. I mean, shit,
He likes our show. He's told us he likes the show.
Well, okay.
We let him come in here.
He
and
didn't even
just
like
say
Pat
whatever he
Hughes
wants.
though.
And
He was negative in the Pat Hughes show.
That's why he's the
Michael
DOD.
is loyal to the show. I will say that.
the
Like
DOD.
he is here. When's the last time we had a show? Michael wasn't here.
That's true. Hey, I don't dislike Michael. I'm glad that he's here. I'm just saying, like,
I just hope he pounds the like button.
I
on
just
our
don't know
chat.
how he can be so like angry and upset all the time.
The DOD,
Before we get into
He
more
just
game,
comes here to vent. I get that. I've been
director of Downer. Should that be it?
the DOD. Before we get into more game, Marcus asks when we will see Hayden Wesneski or DJ Hers. I mean, Wesneski probably in September at some point. I don't know when. Kind of looking to see what transpires with Wade Miley. I think I saw on Twitter he's going on a rehab assignment soon or now, something like that. Keegan should be eligible to come off the IL at some point next week, I want to say. Maybe Sunday, I think, is when it would be 15 days. And then obviously Adbert, seeing where Adbert's kind of at. That's for Hayden. I don't think DJ Harris comes up at all this year.
You do think they will get to 70 players?
I think they have a shot. I think there are a good 5 or so players at AAA that we look at and be like, those guys do have realistic shots at being at AAA. And then I think there's a few guys that we're not even considering that come up like a Match Former did at one point in time,
Right.
or like Luke Farrell came up last week, kind of out of nowhere, or at least just wasn't someone on the radar. I think there's a few guys that could come up over the last month to kind of surprise us. I mean, they got the 60 already in 5 months. Why not get to another 10 in a month?
Yeah. I mean,
I think it could happen.
I think it's going to be high 60s. I don't know if they'll get to 70, but there have been guys called up that I have not even heard of.
That should be the new March. Like I think we're all clear.
The March to 70 is our new.
Like
The March
I
70
think
players.
I think we
70
all
different
agree
players.
70 different players.
that they can hit that 8 wins and get above 63 wins. The March to 70 is kind of what I'm looking at. Can they break their own major league record and get to 70 players used this season? That's what I'm interested in.
Nick says it's
now.
the March to 69. He thinks 69 wins.
And it does. I mean, it'd be really hard. I
Nice.
think even for this Cubs team, it would be very hard for them to go worse than 8-34.
Would they have to go
8
8
and
and 24?
Wait, 8 and 24. Yeah,
8
the
and
rest
24,
of the way.
Like if they
I don't
went 8
math,
and
but
24, wow.
Just to meet 63.
considering they're 20 and 17 in the second half,
Considering they play 13 games against the Pirates and the Reds on their own,
including the
rest of
Rockies
month.
too.
The Rockies, the Marlins,
Yeah.
I think they have a shot. I think they have a shot at hitting 8 wins this month.
Yeah.
I think they can.
Yeah.
I think they should
And
be well past.
how's the draft work again now? What's the new rule with where you pick based on where you finish?
It's like a lottery, kind of how the NBA does it.
Right, but it's like
I think the top 6 teams have the best
shot, but
the
you
best
can
shot.
still get it, right? Like even if
Yeah, well, it's
you
like
can still
how,
get the Derrick Rose.
Yeah, as I'm saying, like the Bulls had the lowest odds and got the first overall pick. I
Well,
think anyone not in the
no
playoffs.
chance. At some point, you have no shot. What is it?
There it is. Yeah, anyone not in the playoffs has all 18 non-playoff clubs enter lottery for the top 6 picks.
0.23 if you're the 9th team.
So the top 3 have the best odds. 4 and 5 are above 10%, and then you just kind of get more minuscule from there. So you're telling me there's a chance?
I mean, I'd like to finish in that top 5 and at least have a 10% chance.
Well, it looks like, I think the last time I looked, and I haven't seen the updated yet, but the Cubs were like the 9th lowest record in the majors. So they're right around that 2.7.
Yeah, see, you don't want to screw around and drop it below 2%.
I'm saying Derek was a 1.7% when the Bulls won that lottery. It was 1.7%. So if they get down to 10, you can still have some confidence. Like, you've seen it happen before.
I genuinely don't care.
Cody doesn't care. He says they can find him, right?
They will find someone in the first round. They don't miss in the first round very often. They will be fine.
Miguel wants to know where to get your CHO sticker. That's in the CHGO locker, isn't it? Can't you buy the stickers?
I don't know if you can buy the stickers.
I actually don't know. They usually come with merch, right? Or they have?
It should be.
I'm gonna check.
That's a great question. We're gonna look into
That is a
that.
good question.
Michael Kulata, I would also like to go to the winter meetings. We'll see how that goes.
So Ricketts can't hide. I don't think Ricketts will be at the winter meetings.
To go.
That's funny.
I think we'd all like to be at some of these off-season things that are going on.
Maybe he's the DOA, the Director of Accountability.
Yeah.
Oh, are you?
Maybe? I'm probably
giving him a lot of credit.
Of course.
I'm probably the DOB,
the director
of Buzzkill.
Buzzkill, yeah. You've done that a lot this year.
What's Cody?
Scott says
Cody's. What?
We're saying, I was just saying, Scott says the Cubs have the 7th worst record currently.
There
I don't
it
know
is.
if that's
So
true. It's
seven.
unfact checked, but they're 7.
And everyone in the chat is telling me all of the Cubs' first-round busts, so thank you. I didn't say that they were all perfect, guys. I didn't say they were all perfect.
They're coming after you. What would Cody
But
be?
they were saying nice things about me earlier, too. So
What would
it's
Cody's
fine.
Dom type name? Director of what?
Probably the DOE, Director of Emotion.
All right.
Director of Vibes.
DOV.
DOV.
He's a dough.
DOV.
He's a dough.
Yeah.
Director of Pain.
There you go,
Ready to
Director
get
of
hurt.
Pain. I'm the DOP. I'm the DOV.
Hey, you got new Jordans.
I do.
Director of Shoes.
These things, fuck. Sorry for slandering.
And by the way, we know that those were like special treatment you got for those.
Oh, yeah, sneakers app.
Cody's got so many Jordans now that like Nike has called him up and identified him as a guy they've got to send stuff to and be like, hey, I think we can reel in Delmendo with another 3 Jordans.
I'm going to bring in my other
We send
pair.
him and tell him it's early access.
I'm going to bring in my other pair that I accidentally bought and give them to Steven, our other producer. He's producing the sock show.
What size are you?
11 and a half.
Ah,
and
never
he
mind.
just happens to be 11 and a half, too.
Never mind.
I accidentally bought 2 pairs.
DOB, Director of Bets.
Should we talk about this game?
Yeah, I didn't win a bet.
Yeah,
tonight.
what did you – obviously Little didn't have the debut, but that doesn't mean – it doesn't mean he's done. It doesn't mean they're going to leave him unprotected. It doesn't mean that, like, simmer
I
down.
would
It
at
was a
least
tough
like to
spot,
see
and then he didn't do well.
a few more
Yes.
appearances, right?
He's going to get a few more.
It was
for
like
sure.
when we talked about Assad yesterday. It's like 2 starts from Assad isn't going to give me a huge opinion on him. Just like 1 outing in a major league debut isn't going to give me a huge opinion on Brendan Little. Like,
Okay, so is it fair of fans and us and everybody, Cubs Nation, if you will, to be Debbie Downer on Little, but then see Estrada come in and be like, that'll play. Like, it's the same sample size.
It is, but you also know that Estrada's had a crazy amount of success this year.
Yeah, I mean, he struck out like more than 40% of the guys in AAA.
Exactly. And that was in a very low. I mean, obviously, it's minor leagues.
Yeah.
A lot of. He's had more success in the minor leagues this year at 3 different levels than Brendan Little did. But I do see that point. It's like everyone's kind of fawning over.
Oh, yeah,
Jeremiah
everybody's
Estrada. But I don't even know if it's like based on the result. It's just like this dude's pumping 98. He had a slider that got the first strikeout and just looked nasty. Maybe not even the results. Like if he gave him a couple hits, it's just like he's got some stuff. He's got some stuff, and I think that's what you get excited about.
I just think with Brennan Little, like this, if no one knows anything about this guy, the Cubs tried to use him as a starter the first like 2-3 years of his career, then got hurt, then had the 2020 pandemic. So
Estrada was a starter too, I believe.
Was he?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well,
but anyways,
Little,
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
I think
the story.
Little is 25, 26. But anyway, the point is that first round pick. They tried him as a starter, it wasn't working, and then they put him in the bullpen. He started having success. Last year, he had his best year at the minor league level. And this year, he struggled to start, but in July and August was really good, and that's how he earned this opportunity. One bad performance isn't going to tell me if he is a bum, like someone was telling you, Ryan, in your Twitter mentions. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it's, especially in this scenario the Cubs are in terms of exploring and the fact that there's so many games left still, like, you got to throw him back out there again. Why not? I
mean, these two guys could be guys they keep around when rosters expand in a couple days from now. Like, Estrada, I think Estrada for sure.
Now, I will say that Estrada, the stuff looks some stuff, folks. Like, sign me up. Like, pumping 98 and throwing 85 and getting some guy to look like he doesn't know what he's doing, swinging a bat. Like, that will play. And, he has a lot of, like, the swing and miss is insane. 40% K rate at AAA or in the minor leagues this year in general. Like, that's great. So, like, I'll get excited for it. He's been doing it all year at the minor league level, and in the fact that, like, he's barely pitched at the minor league level because he had injury history too. Yeah. So this year he's just been it's insane. He was in South Bend and made it all the way up to the highest level. There's something to say about that. So his story is a lot different from Brennan Little, where, he really struggled and he wasn't living up to first round pick potential. Estrada, 6th or 7th round pick, a lot different.
Same
scenario.
draft though, I think. Right?
Same draft, same draft. But I mean, that just goes with the draft. That's why I don't care who the Cubs get in the number pick in the first round. Like, what's it matter?
That's why when everyone was so up in arms about Kate Horton getting picked at 7, when some of these other guys are there, I was like, you're not gonna see anyone for a few years at least. Right. Like, jeez.
And Kate Horton's already ranked in the top 5 of the Cubs system.
No,
because everybody's a bust.
Yeah, everyone.
Listen, and while Cody and Ryan are preaching the facts, stating the facts, we got Robbie trying to derail me on the chat. I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get me off the rails because he knows it's a game that didn't matter to me. And he's talking about, do you go to Dairy Queen? Do you get the dipped cone, Luke? Yeah, those are the best. He's talking about how peanuts on the McDonald's sundae are an underrated condiment. And then people are saying it seems like the gummies are kicking in, the edibles are kicking in.
Yeah, no, Robbie's trying.
And yes, I do like a dipped cone at Dairy Queen. I don't do it as much as I used to.
I get the Blizzard.
We can't let him do it.
I got Blizzard almost all the time. But as a kid, it was the chocolate dipped cone.
I get a chocolate Blizzard with M&Ms in it. Very simple, but it's really good.
Okay. I always just get the Oreo or M&M.
I'm a cookie dough Blizzard guy.
Cookie dough, yeah.
Although recently they had a mint brownie or something like that was off the charts good. It was a couple months ago. Yeah. And I had one. I was like, that's pretty good.
That'll do, donkey.
It was like a Shamrock Shake, but with brownie chunks in it. And that was pretty
Culver's on Sunday on my way back from Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah. Guys,
the world's largest.
World's largest.
We can't let Ravi win. We have to.
You see what he's done?
He's already won.
Here's the problem. We were talking baseball, and this was before the game even ended, and then. I don't know if it was Steven or Herb, but somebody made microwave popcorn. And we were sitting on the couch, and the butter smell was just wafting across the CHGO studios. Just like it was like the Woody Woodpecker cartoons where the woman puts the pie in the window and the smell is going out the window. I couldn't take it.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't take it. And now he starts talking about ice cream.
I'm not going to make it.
I'm not going to make it.
Not this late.
I better have a sip of water. Yeah. No calories there.
No calories. There's a bunch of chips here. I had enough chips tonight too.
And let me tell you, popcorn is another one of my real troubles. Like, I could eat popcorn all day.
Garrett's popcorn's my favorite. Good stuff.
Popcorn is great. Here's the problem. They did it right, and it's one of the greatest smells in the world. Fresh buttered popcorn.
Oh,
But if some idiot burns that microwave popcorn,
it stinks the whole
stinks
thing
the
up
whole
for
house
the
up
rest of
for
the day.
days.
Yep.
Or the building or wherever. So don't ever be that person. Don't ever burn the kernel. Set it. Listen to it when it starts slowing down. Just barely waste a few kernels. Do it for the rest of us. Don't make the mistake and burn the popcorn and ruin everybody's day.
Nick G said, "Did Luke levitate and follow the smell of fresh popcorn?"
Pretty close.
Almost.
Pretty close. He almost does that anytime food's involved.
Pretty close.
Okay, I guess we can talk about the Cubs.
And the game.
Well,
Yes.
why don't we get to who you got? Because that was, one of the more
guy even
exciting
have a
things
hit?
tonight.
I lost track of what Nico was doing tonight.
My
0
guy
for
had
4.
2 hits, and I won. So
Your
what are
guy
the
had-
stats now, Cody?
No, your guy had 2 hits but got
My guy hit 500.
thrown out stealing. My guy had 5 innings, 1 run, and retired 11 straight.
Yeah, it
He
doesn't.
kept the Cubs in
He
it.
gave up an earned run.
1.
I give up no earned runs with him. 4 innings, got nothing. And this was a 2 for
You
4.
weren't here.
What's better, batting 500 or not a quality start?
Honestly,
I rest my case.
Honestly, well, you really.
Kevin, am I wrong?
You were.
What's
it was-
better, batting
hold on, hold on.
500
It was more
or
like
not
250
getting a
'cause
quality
you got,
start?
It was more like 250 because you got thrown out caught stealing. And in this day and age, 5 innings. That's kind of like a quality. That's like this day and age's quality start.
So then what's 2 for 4?
2 for 4 would be great if he didn't.
2 for 4 is like
If he didn't get
You
caught
made a bunch of
stealing.
this
catches.
day's and age batting 700.
If he didn't get caught stealing, yeah, for sure.
He made a bunch of catches.
We did have a couple comments in the chat earlier that agreed with me. They all thought Seo was safe at second. But because it was early in the game, that's why they didn't use the challenge.
Half point, Kevin.
But he was still
So Kevin has
technically
1.5.
out.
Kevin gets a half.
Wait, that's my first win. Can we bookmark that?
No, you
take it.
you have a win in record. So if this is a
know
half
who
point,
it
now you have
was.
1.5 wins.
Do I have a win?
You do.
No, you guys didn't let me pick steal that one time.
There was another time.
Oh, well, hey.
We didn't let you pick steal because you came late.
Yeah.
Jack R has joined the
Take
chat
advantage.
just in time to see me win. Who you got? What are the totals now?
I don't
Cody,
think so.
fill us in on
All
the.
right.
Nope.
I-
Wait, hold on.
Okay. I
Kevin.
think I have taken myself out. I'm not even arguing. So I will say that I think Luke wins this one, and I will leave it up
Thank
to
you, Kevin.
Kevin.
Luke wins this
And-
one,
and
but
I-
we
and-
all split points.
And
yesterday.
Cody, those are great shoes.
Thank you.
Luke wins this one, but we all.
I'm letting Kevin decide,
we
but
can't
I'm
get, we
saying
can't both get it. Come on. If we split it yesterday, we should both get it today.
How many strikeouts does Stroman have tonight?
I don't know. He's not a strikeout pitcher though. You know how many ground balls he had?
By the way,
He did exactly what.
By
he,
the way,
what
while
his
we're on
game
it,
is.
I was floored. I had no idea that he has one complete game in his career, and it's against the
one
Cubs.
complete game shutout.
Well, he was
Yeah.
against
Complete
the
game
Cubs.
shutout. I was stunned.
All right, Stroman went
14.
5 innings, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, 3 hits.
Oh, well, look at this. Jack R on my side. Sean on my side. Cody on my side.
All they care about is offense, man. No one cares about pitching these days.
Corey Friedman already wanted to give me
Someone
the
should have
hug.
taken Estrada. I wish I
Corey
would have
always
taken Estrada.
votes for you.
Yeah, I would have given it to Estrada.
Jack
But
R
I
says
don't know.
your ace needs to go 6 at least. I mean, that would be a nice.
this is
On a good team, that is true.
This is a different
On a good
season,
team that-
man.
He had
But on a good
88
team, that is true.
He had 88 pitches.
Ravi,
I
on my
would have
side.
been. I think that they should have at least let him go out there. But at the same
think so,
time, you can also spin that into okay, he goes out there, gets one out, but then allows a hit. Then you bring in a reliever in a dirty inning, and then we've seen that blow up before. So like,
And the
I
game
don't
blew up
know.
anyway.
Yeah,
It eventually got blown
Yeah,
up.
right,
We had a
like-
clean inning.
Seo with any RBIs tonight?
Nope.
Yeah, I think I got to go Stroman, Luke.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, but nobody was asking you, Kevin.
No, Cody was.
Just ask me.
I said it. Kevin was deciding.
Look at the chat.
I said.
Look at the chat.
I
Come
said
on.
that
Let's
go.
I
He pitched
said
in a
that I would
losing
choose
effort.
Luke, and then
Oh,
Kevin,
we got a Blue
Kevin
Jays fan
was
in the
making the
chat.
decision.
Connor Pearson Ward.
Yeah, a Blue Jays fan who likes Stroh.
He just said Stroh was great tonight. That's it. Thank you for hopping in the chat. This is
That
cool.
was
We
nice.
don't- we
of
don't-
you.
The only time we
International.
ever get a fan of a different team is that
Listen,
one guy,
Ravi
Paul.
says Luke won, and
The
that's
White-
all I need.
Ravi.
All right, you got to
Ravi's
take
at
it to a
Dairy
poll.
Queen now. He missed the game.
You got to take it to a poll on Twitter then.
Or
I'm
we'll
taking
just
it
both,
to the chat. Who needs Twitter?
or we'll just both
These
get
are
a
our
point.
these are our people. This is the fam.
Or we'll just both get a point.
All right. I think that we count up all the people in the chat who say Luke or Ryan at the end of the show, and then we say
that's what I
and
said
whoever has the
yesterday.
most,
Debbie,
whoever has the
Debbie's
most
always-
wins.
No,
Is
that's
your mom Debbie? Because
that-
Debbie's always on here.
That's what I
yesterday
said
was much
yesterday.
closer yesterday. All four of us were
No.
good yesterday.
No, and
Yes.
I said, how about we let because the whole chat was saying I won, and I said let's let the chat decide, and no one did it. No one did it. No.
Sounds like
This
you're
is-
making enemies with
Sean
the chat.
wants to rank ice cream shops.
We'll split the point, Luke. We'll split
This
the point.
is
No. The worst we do is take a full point each.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
That's a cop-out. I think one of you can't do that 2 nights in a row.
Right. That's a 2 for 4. Batting 500.
I'm not
Come on.
making the decision.
You-
Kevin
you're-
made the decision.
Kevin
I'm
already
sorry.
picked me.
And these weren't infield hits. These were legit base hits.
Yeah, 2 of Magical's hits last night, Ryan,
Thank you.
were infield hits.
That he
Thank
beat
you.
out with speed. How can you dismiss a guy beating out an
If you
infield
want to
hit
go
in a
against
Major
the
League
people in the
Baseball?
chat, our family, I'll take a point.
You guys went
and
against
give you
the
one
people-
too, but
you guys went against our family yesterday, so I don't want to hear it. But I do have a proposition. Now that our next Who You Got's gonna be on Thursday on September, there is no more sharing points. It's whoever you got to pick one winner.
however, there are nights where nobody wins. Look, Jack again. Luke won. Let it go. Thank you. Game over.
Eh,
Good call, guys.
sorry, Jack.
Fine, whatever.
Cody, what about your bets?
I went 0-1 tonight, but that's all right. We're slamming Pittsburgh minus 7.5 on Thursday. We're going to make that money back. You're welcome. You can thank me in the chat Thursday or Friday when we do pregame. I made that bet on PointsBet, guys.
Nice.
Yeah, it's my favorite app.
Me too.
PointsBet Sportsbook is counting down the days until football season with a new offer every day until the season kicks off. From now until September 8th, PointsBet Power Hour will unlock a new daily offer from 12 to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sign up for PointsBet now using code CHGO to also get risk-free bets up to $2,000. Don't miss out on your chance to get daily access to free bets, boosted odds, and so much more now through September 8th. But that's not it. If you make a $51 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. Download the PointsBet app today and use code CHGO to take advantage of this limited-time offer. Don't just bet, live your bet life with PointsBet. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral
Those
services.
shirts. Those shirts are awesome.
The shirts bang.
The QB one. They
QB
slap.
one. Yeah, the new Justin Fields shirt.
They slap for sure.
They do definitely slap, bang, fuck. They do it all.
Yeah, I'm buying that one. That one's sweet.
Yeah, definitely.
Our-
Just in time for Bears.
Yeah,
season.
that's true. Our next partner is a product I use literally every day. Started taking AG1 because I didn't have time, wanted better gut health, more energy, an optimized immune system. Now I've been on it for over 6 months, and I love it. It doesn't taste like super healthy. It's kind of mild, a tropical taste. So I look forward to taking it in the morning. Here's what this stuff is. A scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens, all to start your day right. A special blend of ingredients supporting your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, all those things. It'll make you better at who you got. I get a noticeable boost of energy, so I take it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and bingo, there I go. Lifestyle friendly, too. Whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, you're safe and all good with AG1. You're investing in all-in-one nutritional insurance for less than $3 a day, recommended by professional athletes, more than 7,000 five-star reviews. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. 1 scoop in a cup of water every day, that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free, that's right, a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs.
5?
Not 4, not 3,
Not
5.
1, not 2, not 3.
All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs. Again, athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
2 things.
Yes.
Ravi says, this guy reading that ad like a pro. Shout out to Maverick
He
over
kinda
here.
is.
Or Steve, or Luke, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
And then the other thing
Point,
is... The
Maverick.
other thing is that Debbie says she's riding with me on Pittsburgh minus 7.5. And I
With no Kenny Pickett.
love that. That's okay, because West Virginia's defense is basically a bunch of dudes who've never played or started, and Pittsburgh's entire offense is basically back except for Pickett. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about Pittsburgh minus 7.5.
Robbie said he didn't realize it was an ad until 10 seconds ago.
It was a testimony is what it was. It's a testimonial.
Robbie might have the most vibes of anyone in the chat. Like, this guy, like, he is...
Robbie, come up.
He's just... He just... I don't know how to say. He's vibing. He's vibing. Doesn't matter. I just assume he's, getting that good... making the stops at the, at the... What are those shops called?
Dispensary?
Dispensary, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. He's making the stops there weekly. And, hey, man, do what you got to do.
Hey, man.
Our DOD tuning in with a Ricketts putting in new bathrooms in Iowa. Breaking news.
In Iowa?
Director of Downer. There he is.
I kind of want to talk about a couple guys who had good games today and, could be contributors for this team next year.
Okay.
Christopher Morel and Nick Madrigal. Morel, obviously the homer, and was it a single or a double right there late in the game? That
Christopher Morel, 2 hits.
I mean, I'd assume they're both contributors next year unless they're traded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, unless they're Cubs make some deal and have to throw them in, they're
some deal
players next year.
Well, and then like you said with Morel, he was an 0 for 18 streak, 0 for 18 stretch before that home run. Obviously broke out of it in a good way. It's like with a rookie, you're going to see the ups and downs, the kind of thing. And that's okay. But you obviously like to see him have a kind of game like this when he's in the middle of a stretch like that. And on the other side, Madrigal, his defense was really good today. And I think both of them, that one, I don't remember what inning it was, but we all kind of sat up. Like, that might actually be his best play of the season. And he hasn't made any errors this year. Like, kind of an underrated glove at second base. Hasn't made any errors. I mean, he's not, like, crazy, outs above average kind of thing, but there was a few plays where we're like, okay, like, there's a decent, there's a steady glove there, like a solid, above average glove, I think. And not going to be elite gold glove or anything, but someone you throw there in second base and trust to make the plays he should make.
Yeah. He had a great game. And like I've said all month, I just need to see more from him. And I think this offseason, if there's any player on this team that if a huge offseason of, just work or training and working on what they need to do to get better, Nick Madrigal might be top 3 in that list, in my opinion. For him to really live up to being drafted 4th overall in the 2018 draft, and, if he wants to play second base every single day, this offseason is huge for him. And I say that because last offseason he spent it rehabbing.
Rehabbing, not with the team.
Yeah.
Because of the lockout.
Exactly. So, this offseason will be huge for him if he's going to be playing second base for the Cubs next year. And I'm not against it. I'm also not against, getting someone else who has already proven to be very good at that. So
see, that's the trick with him. By the way, Miguel just bought the QB1 shirt. Thank you.
Let's go,
nice.
Miguel.
Shout out to Miguel.
Look at that cross advertising.
Do you think this is a fair statement? I think Madrigal has become the most hot button player on the Cubs. People either love him or hate him.
Madrigal?
Madrigal. I'm sorry. Madrigal is the guy that people have either thrown in there like he's never going to be anything, or people are starting to say,
"There's no
what about this guy Madrigal?"
Yeah. I'm like, I think it's starting to get more towards the middle than it was like early in the season.
Yeah, but who did I just see? Charlie says, "I'll take anything for Madrigal."
Yeah.
There's still people that do not think he's worth anything.
Yeah.
I think it was more pronounced early in the season because he was either struggling or hurt, and there were people that were like, "It's over, it's done, get him away," and there was others like, dude, he's been hurt, he's played 30 games after when they were already 100 games into the season. I think those two sides were more divided. I think, and then Twitter is just the worst place to even try to kind of look at that, but it feels like more often it's getting more towards middle ground than it was before. I think it's still divided, and there's definitely still people on both sides, but it's like, I don't know. I think more people are willing to give him a chance now that he's healthy and has had a good month. And it just has performed better.
Like I said, to see him playing as well as he has, it's still not enough for me to say that he's untouchable or anything like that,
No.
or like
no.
or
No
that
one
the
is.
Cubs should
No.
not like. It's not that he should be blocking signing someone like Carlos Correa if he opts out, or Xander Bogaerts if he opts out with the Red Sox. Like it's not to that level, but it is encouraging to see him play well because he has so many years of control and he's still young. There's value there. So if he does continue to play well through the end of the year, that does increase his value a little bit if the Cubs did want to flip him. But I'm also not against keeping him either. You know what I mean? So that's I guess I would be more in the middle. But yeah, at the beginning of the year, people were like, before he even played a game in a Cubs uniform, people were already done with him.
Part of it is that he came from the White Sox.
That was
I don't even think it's that. I just think
I
they
think
listened.
that- I
I
listen-
think
They
that's some
listened
of
to
it. They
the
don't
I don't
want
think
the
it
trades
helped.
with the Sox to work.
I don't think it helped.
He
It
just needs to
definitely
get
didn't help,
stronger.
but like all people were saying when that trade happened is like, oh, Madrigal's a slap hitter and he's a poor man's Ryan Theriot, which is a freaking like slap in the face to Ryan Theriot. He was a good player, and
Until he said he was
switched
on the right
sides.
side of
Until
the
he
rivalry,
switched sides and went to the
then he lost
Cardinals.
all Cubs fans forever.
Yeah.
The riot
But-
was very popular.
Oh,
Right.
he was until that comment.
Yeah,
right,
He was, yeah.
But
And what was he supposed to
again,
say?
like
But whatever.
like they don't. Those guys in the other studio don't miss that guy, and like I think a lot of Cubs fans just kind of listen to that and were like, well, if they don't even miss him, why should we even get up for him? So, I do think that they could use a guy like him right now.
And I
but-
think it's kind of what we talked about not too long ago. We keep coming back to the Cubs going after one of these shortstops that are going to be on. They get one of them. If they can convince him, or they move Nico to third base, that lets those two play on the left side. Lets Nick, take over second base and rotate it kind of that way. If they end up letting whoever it is play shortstop, Nico play second. Yeah, that doesn't give Nico an everyday position. He can still DH. He can still rotate in at second base when one of those other two guys needs to. Like, there's room to play around with how they use Madrigal, but I think he's like starting to look more like a player they can depend on to be productive next year. He's not going to be
Absolutely.
an all-star.
If he's the guy that we've seen since returning from injury, he's at the very least a utility guy that you can use on a really good team.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be a spot for that guy to be your backup shortstop, second baseman. Now, if he had a little more versatility defensively, he would increase that stock even more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe he's got in the offseason, maybe like hit the weight room a little bit, get your arm a little bit stronger, because he can't really play
I just don't want him to get hurt. Like, don't lose your flexibility.
I mean, there's some plays where you see him struggling to throw the ball to first base, though, deep in the hole at second. So
That's kind of my thing is like, that, again, with him this offseason, it will be huge for him in terms of just getting better.
Yeah.
So,
And it really has been, and he said it, and I think everyone's kind of like thought the same thing, or anyone that thinks about it rationally is like, this whole season has been like, yeah, the beginning of the season was bad, but he was also playing his first baseball in like 10 months when the season started, since the hamstring injury. And then he got hurt after the first month of the season, or a few weeks into the season, got hurt, came back for a little bit, got hurt again, and then was
This
out
may
for
be the
over a
first
month.
he's 100%.
Since he came back, and he has said, and actually I wrote a feature on Madrigal on
interesting.
allchgo.com.
Is that a freebie or is it locked?
It is a freebie, but
Ooh.
if you want more, not everything's going to be a freebie. So
not
you
everything in
should
life is free.
You should subscribe to allchgo.com. But, there was a comment in there that he has said, he's like, I feel really, like it's, basically I feel really good. I've talked to doctors and they've told me that, I may never feel 100% again. But, like, at least he's at the point where he's not thinking about it. And it's like the play that he got hurt on when he was in the Sox was an infield ground to third base, trying to beat that out. Kind of like what he did yesterday with the Blue Jays, right?
Right.
But then there was that one against the Brewers there's a video that I put in the story. But then the infield hits against the Blue Jays, like you see him not really having any kind of fear.
Oh, Robbie.
Oh my God, Ravi.
If Madrigal combined with his contact with some PEDs, he'd hit 30 homers. Oh, God.
Okay.
Hell
Ravi.
yeah.
I
That's
forgot-
what.
We've seen that guy, and I know the name, but I'm not going to say it.
I forgot where I was.
Yeah. Continue.
Oh, I don't know.
His doctors told him he's never going to, he
Well-
might not ever feel like he's 100%, but at least he knows what that level is, and he's not worried about
And yeah,
re-injuring himself.
he trusts his body enough that he could do those. He can make those same plays that he got hurt on without having to worry about it. I think he's at that point, which is like the first time. It seems like the first time he's felt that way this season.
Right.
And if he can have a really good September to beginning of August, like that gives you a lot of confidence in him as far as just being a guy you can be okay with throwing out at second base next year. And letting him continue to develop. I think that's what you want is like worst case scenario, you don't sign one of those shortstops, but you have a guy like Nick Madrigal who has a good end of the year, and then you kind of see what he could do in a full healthy year.
What if they did sign Correa? He's your third baseman. Nico's at short. Madrigal's at second. We'll figure out first because I don't think they're going to fix third and first in 1
Ash
year.
Mervis, baby.
Probably
Could be
Patrick
Mervis
Wisdom.
coming up. Could be Mervis coming up, and you just don't know how that'll work out, but you hope it's good. The other guy that I wasn't sure what to think.
It would be
Brendan
be-
Brennan Davis went back to Iowa, so he's
Yes.
done his rehab in South Bend. First game back, boom, home run.
Love to see it.
So now
Also, first
if
base,
he was
Mervis and Wisdom.
if he was their top prospect, now could Brennan Davis be your center fielder very early in the season next year? Have you figured out center field, or at least, two of the outfield spots, maybe
Brennan
three?
Davis could. Don't take this too literally, but Brennan Davis could be playing center field for the Cubs right now, and I think all of us would be okay with it.
Well, we're excited to see what potential we're like play Velasquez. See what you got.
All I'm
the guy's got
saying
power.
is that there's
but as
no
far
one
as
blocking
prospects
him.
go, Brennan
Yeah.
Davis is a way bigger prospect than
Right.
Velasquez.
And I'm
Yeah.
just saying that no one is blocking Brennan Davis. I think that if he does play well in Iowa the rest of the year of however many games they got there, and if they do perhaps send him to the Arizona Fall League to get more at-bats, and then has a good spring, then yeah, what should stop the Cubs from letting this guy man center field start 2023?
Yeah.
You think they'll send us to the Arizona Fall League? That's another one.
Miguel
Maybe at
Amaya's
least
gonna
Ryan,
go there,
because
but-
we just Mark Gonzalez broke that
Yeah.
Miguel Amaya is going to be there. Brendan Davis is there.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that. I
I
know
don't
Jared Banner's talked about it, about that being a possibility. I think Jad or Carter and Carter have also talked about that. And actually, Lance Brosdowski, when Marquis, he kind of does a lot of the prospect stuff and the data, the pitching. He's kind of like Brendan. But it was funny, actually, on Corey and Brendan's show, maybe on Sunday, Corey said that Lance is like Brendan on steroids. Not like literally,
Right,
physically, but like as far as what he does.
Nobody's ever accused Brendan of taking steroids.
He definitely doesn't look like he's used steroids.
No, but it was like
AG1 maybe.
he had a
Whatever he's using for his hair, though.
Oh,
he had an
whoa.
interview with Lance had an interview with Brendan Davis. I think South Bend might have been in Michigan or something.
Yeah, he
past
was the
week.
Whitecaps, I think. I saw
He
that.
sat down with him and mentioned one of the things that got mentioned was the Arizona Fall League. And Brennan said something along the lines of like that would be a good opportunity to kind of make up some of the at-bats that I've missed this year as far as developing, keeping, getting back in a good rhythm and just hitting for another month or so after missing 3 or whatever it ends up being by the time. What was it, like 2.5, something like that? I think it was like, no, it's 3, right? In early May, mid-May is the last time he played. And
Yeah.
So it's been about 3 months.
Right.
So at least you get like a month or so back from that if he goes to the Arizona Fall League. I mean, I could see it happening. I definitely can. I don't see why they wouldn't if they want to get him those at bats.
You think Alzolay will be there? Could it be Brendan Davis, Alzolay, Amaya?
I don't know about Alzolay.
I don't think
I'm
Alzolay will.
not sure like how many players can they send?
I don't know.
That's
I'm not sure how
playing
many
for
players
Mesa.
I can send either
That's what
because
I was
they could send PCA as well.
I think he's proven everything he needs to, right? Like, I
That's
just
true.
think
It's true. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying that, like, I think if he just gets the at-bats that he really missed out on over the next month, if he, like, destroys Iowa, I mean, he hit a homer tonight, right? Like, if he just keeps going now the rest of the month, then maybe it's enough to where you don't really feel like you need to send him and you can send someone else.
Each Major League Baseball team sends 6 top prospects to the Arizona Fall League. I don't think Alzolay is considered a prospect anymore.
Alzolay is not going to go. So the Cubs are going to be able to send 6 guys?
6 guys. So
That's what this about on Arizona Fall League on MLB.com.
Okay.
Which is what I Googled.
All right.
Well,
PCA, Brennan Davis,
Amaya.
Amaya, we know.
Yeah. Maybe
That'd be
Wicks.
I mean,
be an interesting group to see.
Wicks or Killian again. You send Killian again. He was there last year.
Maybe not Killian.
A lot of times it's guys that
Wisniewski.
didn't get enough, something derailed part of their season, and you want to get them the extra bats or the.
Fair.
But so that's why
fair.
that's why Davis and Amaya are 2.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we'll see. Have I told you guys about Owen?
I don't know. Have you?
Stands for only what you need. It's a 100% plant-based protein shake that gives you the nutrition that works as hard as you do. All of their products, are you ready for this? Free of artificial ingredients, allergen-friendly, no gluten, no dairy, easily digestible. I first heard about it when I found out that's right, Justin Fields, QB1, the guy we have the sweet jersey, the sweet swag, he follows that plant-based diet.
He does.
How is he going to turn into the best quarterback in the NFL? Well, he started with Owen, only what you need. And right now, Owen and CHGO have partnered up to give you an awesome offer. You can get 20% off your first purchase at liveowen.com. The code CHGO20. Join me, Justin Fields. Try Owen, only what you need. By the way,
And apparently magical,
I
according
heard
to Ravi.
that the Bears line was dropped to 6 wins now at Caesars. They clearly don't know that Justin Fields is taking the Owen.
Yeah.
Every day,
Only what you need.
plant-based.
Ravi says magical also drinks Owen.
That's right.
I cannot
right.
confirm or
Well, he
deny
started
that.
drinking it just recently, like
Don't,
4 or 5 weeks ago.
What is it that Luke always says? Don't let the facts
Get in the way of a good story.
get in the way of a good
That's
story.
fair.
Yeah.
You're right.
Number 1 rule of journalism.
Let's just speak into existence.
Ryan, shoot him a text and ask.
Oh, we'll discuss. We'll discuss some Owen.
There you go.
At Wrigley.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see how it goes.
Did you guys see that it was a Texas League game, I believe, Round Rock and Oklahoma City. They did the ABS challenge system. So it's basically the strike zone system. It's not being used everywhere. They're going to use it a little bit here the rest of the season. And teams have 3 challenges on balls and strikes called. It's not a manager that makes the call. It has to be the players on the field, and it has to be immediate. And then it goes
So
to
they
a
don't
quick
get to
review,
see
and then
a
they tell the
video.
umpire, nope, it was a strike. So you get 3 of them, and just like a regular challenge is now, if you're right, you don't waste it. If you're wrong, you lose it. So
I do find it interesting because they won't have like replay or anything like that. It has to be based off their eye, right? Like if it's the player. or
the
pitcher.
player's just going by, they're not
Yeah.
going to have somebody like, they can't get it from the dugout, like check that.
Right.
It's got to be the player. And so this is one of the problems with it. Players are all going to want to use it. They're going to want to be the guy to save their at-bat.
Yeah. That's true. So am I even slow?
But
You
realistically,
only get 3
if
of
you're-
them though, right?
You only get 3 of them, and you have to be right to keep them.
Yeah.
My
So you can keep
suggestion as a friend,
recycling?
I think if you don't lose it, you just keep them.
So if you use all 3 and you win them all, then you really have 6, and then you can go to 9. Like you just keep going until you lose them?
That's my understanding of what
That's
I read.
That's what it looks like.
Now-
from what I'm saying.
You have to be sure you don't have the guy who thinks he's always right. That's number 1.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody like Joey Votto on your team, becomes pretty valuable. Somebody that, say a Suzuki, knows the strike zone pretty well.
Yeah.
Like last night's game, that umpire setting up on the inside, he called a strike. The umpire in the Cubs-Blue Jays game, he called that inside strike that was off by like 4 inches. It had to be a dozen times. They made a point of it. Even the broadcaster, like, JD's like, that's not even close. And it's because he's sitting to the right-handed batter's side of the catcher, and the angle he's looking at is not straight on. So in that case, you can make a difference. If I were an organization, though, my philosophy would be we're not using that unless it's strike 3.
Yeah.
You only got 3 of them. We're not using it unless it's strike 3. And you better be sure.
You better be sure, yeah. I like it. Jack R is in the comments. He says that he doesn't like it. I think that I think all 3 of us, or at least me and Luke, for sure, because Ryan has to be more objective than anything. That way the MLB doesn't come after him. But me and Luke have been, I'm pretty sure we're both on the same line of we need some robot umpires. So,
I just disagree that because I like the human error aspect.
That's
of
what Jack
baseball.
R is saying, too. He's like, umps make bad calls,
not.
but they are
think-
good at their job. In general, they are good. There's 1 or 2 guys that are
There's one or two
clearly
guys-
not good.
There's 1 or 2 guys that are really bad, and then just on the average umpire, the fewer mistakes they make are the ones that get talked about than the calls they get right. That's just how it works. I think this is a good way of
Charlie, thank you.
aiding that about limiting the human error as much as possible. I'm trying to figure out, because if you can just keep recycling challenges, then that makes it a little bit there. Because I was comparing it to giving the power to the player to do that is kind of risky. Because look at basketball.
But they want to make it faster. That's why they're doing it. They don't want hold on a second, we're looking at that pitch.
Yeah, but
right?
but what I'm saying is look at basketball, and they have replay review stuff now. And you will get to midway through the first quarter.
Yeah,
no
foul.
There'll be a
No foul. No foul. No
There'll be a
foul. I
foul,
didn't
and
touch
you'll
him.
see whoever it was telling him to relook at it. It's why would I use the challenge in the middle of the first quarter?
Well, that's what I'm
saying. It was
saying.
the same thing with Seiya was it the first inning, I think, or second inning it was, when the slide, who we were kind of looking at it, could have been overturned, but it was also the second inning, and would that have you lose that one, then you lose your challenge for the rest of the game. It's that might not be a spot you want to take it in. If it's not, the way it's explained, it seems like it can be unlimited challenges until you lose 3, which is weird.
To me, if you're going to do it, just give each team 3 challenges and let them use it, and that's it. Right or wrong, you use it.
Exactly, and then
make it fast.
And if that's the
Which
case,
sounds like they're trying.
That's
to
the
do.
case. Putting it in the play, giving the players the power to do that is going to be risky because they might call it. One hitter might call it in the first inning every time to make sure he's not striking out or something, and then you lose him. That is a risky proposition, but
I mean, there have been some bad calls, and I don't like seeing that, and that bothers me. At the same time, it is part of what makes being a baseball fan fun, being able to scream about a bad call, or you don't want it against your team, but there is something for the human element to it. Although I thought that about tennis, and then they put in the little chime, and they go to the review, and if the serve was out, the baseline shot was out, it's better.
What has
Better
Theo
with it.
Epstein said multiple times over the last couple of months when he's done media interviews? He's trying to find a way to make the game more accessible to hitters because pitchers have such an upper hand right now.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a big point of MLB trying to even the playing field. This is why they're talking about the shift.
Because pitchers and catchers can do it too. They can
argue
challenge
the calls?
Yeah, it's a pitcher, catcher, and the hitter that can
You
challenge
have to
the
be
call.
on the field to challenge the call.
It's pitcher, catcher, and hitter from what I
and
can.
it cannot come from the dugout.
But either way, the hitter
Right?
still gets an opportunity to change things
Yeah, he
around. So
does.
it kind of pushes it forward for them.
Sure, but
it can
a
work in either way.
but
A
it
pitcher
works
that
the
thinks he
opposite
should have
way.
rung a guy up on a call
Yeah.
can also quickly say,
Yeah.
no, check that.
Yeah. I'm trying to hide the logo. No free ads on here, Kevin.
Yeah, you're doing an okay job.
I guess
Debbie says she doesn't want bad calls, LOL. You do if they're working in your favor. I'll take that cheap strikeout every once in a while.
I feel like I lose years off my life every year watching these umpires. Angel Hernandez is definitely I'm gonna die 5 years earlier thanks to Angel Hernandez. So that's where I stand on it. I think this is good. So that's where I'm at.
I don't think this is bad. I think this is helpful. I just don't think going full robot umps is I just don't think that's baseball anymore.
this is
really.
like-
No,
this is-
it has to be droids. If you're going to do it, I've said
It has
I
to be
I
like
want
actual robots.
I
back
want
there.
R2D2 behind
Yeah,
the
that's
plate.
what I
This
That's
said.
is
what's going
a
to happen.
version
That's
of
what I've
it,
said.
though, and that's I'm saying that this is basically what robot umps are, what this potentially could be.
From what a lot of people want is just like an AI system calling balls and strikes, like telling you was it a strike or was it a ball, like
Yeah, computerized system.
computerized system based on what
Stadium
a strike
yells out,
zone is.
Steve, right one.
Yeah, like that's not baseball. I want to have an umpire. If you have the ability to review a call, I'm for it. But I think having that human element is, which kind of makes baseball what it is.
Yeah, so you put in the robots, and you're just going to have, the home plate umpire just stand behind the catcher all game and just look like this?
Well, no, at that point is when the
gone.
R2D2 comes in.
That's where
You still got to
R2D2's
make
out
calls
there.
at the plate, though. Still got to have a guy back there to make calls at the plate.
I think R2D2 can call a play.
I mean, have you seen Star Wars? R2D2 runs the show.
He's pretty smart.
C-3PO is the one that's the mess. Anyways,
keep up.
I'm okay with it. I first of all, I'm okay with them trying it at the minor league level to see what it's like. That's the place to do
Yeah.
it. All of this stuff, go ahead and so I think it was Ravi said he doesn't like the starting the runner at second base.
I do in the regular season because it's just like one game out of 162 for the most part.
I don't know if it speeds it up
Isn't-
though. Like the idea was to speed it up, but it seems like it just extends like another inning of everybody scoring one run. It's okay. It's not gonna ruin it for me.
I don't know.
But I won't say I love it. Let's put it that way.
Sign me up. I'm in.
For robot umps and
Yep.
runner at second.
No, not runner at second. Remove that shit. Sign me up for anything to get these calls right. Sorry.
I'm not with you on that one.
Shit's ridiculous.
I'm not with you. That's 2 days we've disagreed on something.
Good. Let's continue
Yeah,
to disagree.
we'll do it
I'd
for-
also like to shout out everyone who's been supporting me on the internet today. Thank you.
Have you got a lot of support on the internet?
I have
today?
been. Yeah, some people actually have tweeted at me and told me that that they're on my side. So
For the
for our Ohtani discussion last night.
Nobody's not on your side.
yeah,
Say what?
nobody's not on your
Nobody's
side.
not on your side.
We love you. We support you.
No, it has nothing to do with that. Just my take on the on.
Cody, do you
the
need a
Ohtani
hug?
trade.
Ryan, hug him.
No, Ryan, don't hug me.
We'll hug you off.
Don't hug me with this camera.
I
Guys.
Do like
totally
the
understand.
Morel Contreras.
I
hug that just
totally
happened in the
understand
game
what you're
today.
saying. I just don't think that scenario plays out, but
No.
that doesn't mean it's totally unrealistic.
Well, you guys were reacting like it was totally unrealistic last night.
And listen, if I put in my mind, if I'm putting a percentage on it, I would say that's less than 5%. But
Yes.
but I can see what you do have. You have reasonable thoughts for wanting to go that way. Like it's not insane what you're saying. I still think that doesn't make it any less unlikely to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's where we're
think
both at.
I think a team would still push for Nico, and if they didn't get Nico, another team would be willing to
Yeah.
give their Nico.
And like I remember you did make one point where you're like, even if they did include Nico, that may not be the best offer that the Angels would get, and that's I think
that's what we're
proving
saying.
our point is like, so then how would it make sense that you wouldn't need to give up Nico to give him if having Nico in that deal still isn't enough to get him? See, that was just kind of like a weird.
I said that because we just genuinely don't know what his market is.
Yeah, well, that's what
we don't.
We're saying in our mind,
but
is,
it's good, whatever it is, right? Like we can agree he's
I just don't
very
think
unique.
when you look at the trade that Juan Soto got, like what the Nationals got for Juan Soto, they got 5 guys, all guys who had never played the major league level, except for one, and that was literally for a month or two, half season, whatever. Like to just assume that we'd have to throw in a guy who's been at the major leagues for a few years now and was a snub all-star, like for a guy who has 1 year left and on a team that the owner has already said that he's considering selling, and like it's like Nationals all over again, except with less years of control. To me, it's like there's more pressure on the Angels, in my opinion, to move Ohtani to get any high value, and I just don't know if teams are going to go as far as what the Padres did for Juan Soto when they can simply just pay him after 1 year.
But that's what we're saying is there will be a team that does it, and the other teams will feel
there
regret not doing it.
There will be a team if that happens.
Yes.
I just, at this point here on August 30th at 10:17 p.m., there's no rumor of a team actually out there to do that.
No.
Well, it's also
But Debbie's
can't start trading for like another 3 months.
Debbie's agreeing with you too. She's saying you wouldn't get that for a rental. I don't believe there's any scenario where a team
And that's what
trades
we all
for
agree.
him unless they get the extension.
That's what we all agreed on.
It
Like,
will be a
that's the
sign
only
and
reason
trade.
to.
Somebody will give him a big deal and then trade him to the other team.
That's what we all agree
The
on.
Angels are hoping that Ohtani will be willing to do that, because if not, then
Right.
they really won't
Yeah.
get the thing that
Then they're
like the kind of deal they want, and then they really will be forced to trade him for something that is significantly not what he is worth, because they just have to get something back for him. And that's kind of like where I'm coming at. And I didn't even mention last night that he's going to be 29 in July next year. It's not like he's 23 like Juan Soto is. And he has injury history. So like all of that kind of adds up in my head. Not saying that him as a player is not worth giving whatever up, but to give up five guys for a guy with 1 year left, has injury history and all of that, like
You drag
you're
me
giving
to
up.
10,
You're
you
giving up
drag me
5
to
for
10
2.
to 15%.
You're giving up 5 for 2 though. Is really what it is. 5 for 2 in one roster spot. You really are.
I would be all for doing all of that if he had multiple years of control, not
If
just
he,
one.
I'm saying,
And younger.
I think the Cubs should 100% do it if they can lock down a contract extension.
Yes.
If they know that that's
Yes.
happening, then you go for it, because
We will
that's
learn
the
if
thing.
Ohtani wants to sign a contract extension this winter.
That's what we're gonna figure out.
And if he doesn't, then no one's going to trade for him, or the Angels will just move him because they absolutely have to.
Right. And Sean is agreeing with you, but also agreeing with us in that he's saying, well, no, he's not going to get as much because there's 1 year left and he's an older player. And again, I'm saying the 1 year left is not a factor because nobody's going to trade for him unless they get the big deal. Cody's saying, well, if that's the case and he's not willing to take the deal and they're forced to trade him with 1 year left, then his value shrinks.
Yeah. I think that's...
But some team would, I do think, even if that were the case, some team like the Yankees going into the postseason trying to win the World Series, and they're like, we could add Ohtani to our rotation and our lineup, even if it is for 1 year.
Yeah.
Our farm system's so good, the Dodgers,
yeah,
we go for it.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that's kind of like that whole like quote unquote narrative of like, oh, the Dodgers, the Yankees, whatever, like the fact that they weren't even the finalists for Juan Soto, like what's different about Ohtani except for the fact that he can do both, but like is 6 years older. Like I just
Well,
I could see
agree.
them doing it. I could see them do it, but like if they weren't going to be in for whatever for Juan Soto, I guess the Dodgers were a finalist, but they didn't go the extra mile to try and get him. Maybe the Padres had the better prospects. I don't know. Whatever.
I also think
But
I've seen 4 years, $200 million for Ohtani as an extension. I've seen that thrown out there. In 4 years, he's not going to have aged very much. He'll still be back end of his prime as a all-star pitcher and an all-star hitter, maybe even levels higher than that.
again, I would trade.
I don't think the age should really
They're not
have
in
that much of a
position,
factor.
just like Soto, they are not in position to give away all of their prospects.
No.
And so, again, that would lead me towards, well, they're going to want somebody off the Major League roster. But maybe it's,
We'll see.
I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe it's
just think
Steele
the
and Keegan and
I
Morel. I just don't, I wouldn't think that
I'm
would
not
be enough
even-
to get him.
I just think that I think the Cubs have the farm system depth to where they could really make a deal really nice and then throw in whether it's a Steele or if it is Nico, fine, whatever, I'll take my L. But like I'm just saying that like I don't think they have to send multiple major league players for Ohtani.
I'm not even saying I think the Cubs will do it.
No,
I think they should be in it. They should
Well,
be at the top
I think
of the
every
list.
team should at least be interested.
Again, it's like where you have to either answer the phone or make that call. Like you have to check in. And I remember, I think Jed and I don't remember if they did say that they had checked in. Well, they did. They kind of checked in with all 29 teams is what I know Carter had said that at the trade deadline, which kind of revolved around Juan Soto talk.
If
you have to check in on Shohei Ohtani and see what it would take.
I will say this:
regardless if it
if
doesn't
Nico
happen.
is involved, then I don't think you have to include as many prospects.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
So,
the
That's what we're
first,
saying.
That's the first thing I said is if you trade Nico, then you don't have to be including PCA and Brennan and Trianto. Like, you don't have to go down the list.
But if you don't,
Then you don't have to deplete your farm system. You do have to lose your best player on your team currently, who's young, but at least you wouldn't totally deplete the farm
I guess
system if you
the
believe
way
in
that
those
I
guys.
look at it is I would rather them move the prospects before Nico because I think the organizational depth on the farm is better and that they can afford to move things like that and still be able to put a competitive team out there with Ohtani and Nico Horner next year if that were to play out.
Well,
So
his age, to what you're saying, his age would agree with that comment too. Like, if you're trying to win in a 4-year window with Ohtani on a $200 million contract, the best way to do that would be also to have Nico on the roster because some of those prospects will not be able to get up there fast enough to become major leaguers, contribute right away. So in that way, that is true too.
yeah.
Like, obviously, having the Nico and Ohtani get you closer to being a very competitive team
Right.
than the other way around.
But yeah, other teams, I wish I just knew the market. I wish I knew the market. Everyone
Yeah,
wants to assume that it's going to cost this and this and this and this.
that's the one
And
thing is
I
like we
just-
haven't seen anything
Yeah.
realistically thrown
And
out.
I
Even at the
know-
trade deadline, like did
Well,
we?
at the deadline, what the White Sox called or whatever, and then
That was-
Sean was telling me this stuff on the bet show
was
today.
good.
I'm like,
The attempted trade graphic.
how much will that?
I tried to trade them Patrick
how
Wisdom, and
much
he'd be leading the
will,
team in home
would
runs
that
right now.
quote unquote trade if even if they actually tried? I don't know if they're just doing that for PR. How much of that trade?
Attempted trade.
Attempted trade. How much does that matter in this winter after the season now, with only 1 year left control? Like I said, like I keep saying, like I think that's a significant difference because at least if they would have moved him at the deadline, I think there's more leverage there because teams are like, they get desperate. Like the Padres, I mean, I don't think the Padres got desperate. I think they just said that we're going to go get a guy that we can extend long term and is 23, generational talent, blah, blah, blah. They had prospects, made sense. But, things like that, I think more teams are more willing to give up on their farm pieces at the deadline than they are in the winter.
Let's leave it at that. The Sox attempted to trade, and we attempted not to suck tonight. Cubs, however, did lose 5-3. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs postgame show podcast. We are not doing one tomorrow. It would be Brendan and Corey with a series recap for you.
Are they live?
Then they'll be there.
Okay.
And then Thursday, we'll be back doing the full deal, right?
It's an off day show,
Thursday we
right?
got an off day show. Yeah.
Thursday's the off day show live,
Yep.
and then Friday we're back.
Be
to
here like
games.
Thursday afternoon.
Yeah,
Thursday at 1:30.
1:30, I believe, is the time on Thursday.
Oh, that's as early as we've ever been.
Yeah,
Kind
well, we're big time now.
Nice.
Look at us.
Well, after all, we are the
Look at
international
us.
podcast.
Who would have thought?
Not me.
Not me.
Yeah, #1 international podcast. Thanks for listening.